Coming up on the next episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
She was a child actress from the age of 4, but left Hollywood at 22. This Mrs. Doubtfire star, Lisa Jakub, went on to become an author, motivational speaker, and mental health care advocate. The founder of Blue Mala, a community for mental wellness, and Mission Flexible for veterans. Lisa has been busy in the decades since she left the big screen.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
You're now listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
She's been featured in more than 20 films from the early days of film and television.
He is a psychotherapist and her loving husband.
Together, they are on a mission to brighten your day and your life.
It's a time to smile, a time to laugh, a time to expect more.
It's time to get inspired with your hosts, Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
It's time to meet Zuzu, all grown up.
Do you believe that life is wonderful in principle, but for some reason just isn't so consistently in practice? Every life will have its ups and downs. But have you ever thought that if there were only more people around you encouraging, uplifting, and even inspiring you, then life would be more fulfilling? If only people like George and Mary Bailey were in your inner circle, then life could truly be wonderful all the time? If so, we've got good news for you, because you can find such people on this podcast and at zuzunetwork.com. This podcast is the vision of Karolyn Grimes, Zuzu, and Dr. Chris Brunell, illustrating how the timeless message of It's a Wonderful Life can be and is applied to our modern lives and situations. Indeed, when you take that message to heart, your life will become immeasurably more wonderful. Visit us at zuzunetwork.com and listen to this podcast series to learn more about how. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy another episode of Zuzu, All Grown Up.
Get ready for miracles. Get ready for Zuzu. All Grown Up.
Today we're joined by Lisa Jakub. She had roles in a number of Hollywood movies, and everyone remembers her from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello, Lydia.
This isn't fair, Mom. Why do we need a housekeeper anyway?
Oh, this is all I need right now.
Look, why can't Dad do it?
Excuse me, dear, but I don't think it's appropriate to argue with your mother in front of a perfect stranger, if you don't mind my saying so.
I just don't see why we can't spend the extra time with Dad.
I'm not who you think I am.
Yeah, no.
Watch your mouth, young man.
Oh, my God. Dad?
Yeah.
Dad?
Yeah, honey. Oh, hey.
She's with Karolyn and Chris now to talk about her childhood in show business and her devotion as an adult to mental health. Lisa Jakub, we welcome you to the show. Now, over to you, Karolyn and Chris.
Today we have Lisa Jakub. She is a retired actress, author, motivational speaker, mental wellness advocate, and founder of Blue Mala, a community for mental wellness, Mission Flexible for veterans. It's a delight to meet you, Lisa. My gosh, and have you a guest on our podcast today. We know that you've spent years working in the entertainment business and left it all behind for your real passion in life, bettering your mental wellness. During the interview, we'd like to ask some questions about your past and then learn how you've regained who you are and your purpose in life, assisting others as a mental wellness advocate. Let's start with your time in Hollywood.
You started doing commercial work at the age of 4 and appeared in 40 TV shows and movies before leaving Hollywood at 22. What was your most significant acting role, and how has that changed your life?
Gosh, well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's such a delight to meet both of you and chat about this today. So yes, I spent pretty much all of my childhood and teenage years working as an actor. So I started when I was 4 in Toronto doing commercials and TV shows, and then eventually moved to Los Angeles and, worked in that Hollywood world until I was 22. I did some movies that did very well in the box box office. The things that I still get recognized from to this day, which is just absolutely shocking to me. I left Los Angeles more than 20 years ago. Mrs. Doubtfire and Independence Day are the two. There were lots of others projects that I did that were significant in a lot of other ways. Fascinating, wonderful people that I met that I'm still in touch with, amazing travels that I got to do, just significant in terms of stretching me as an actor or, any of those sorts of things. It's hard to just pick one. I really loved the filming of the movie Matinee. Matinee will always have a special place in my heart. So that was a John Goodman movie that we did. I was 13 at the time and very much trying to figure out who I was as a human. And I loved playing this character because she was very strongly willed. She was very outspoken. She was very clear in what she believed, and she stood up for what was right. And I had no idea how to do any of those things. I just thought she was so cool, and I wanted to be just like her.
Is it accurate that your nickname in Hollywood was One Take Jake?
I took my job very seriously from a really young age. And so I made it a point to always be prepared, to always show up ready to do my job. And so it rarely took me more than one take. So I got that nickname very early on. It's one of those things, it's interesting. And now I look back on it and it's flattering, but I think it also made me a bit of a perfectionist. Kind of a funny thing to look back on those things that happen in your childhood that you kind of take on as a defining characteristic, and you realize like, oh, it was good in some ways, but also in some other ways a little bit tricky.
Well, knowing that you played the oldest daughter, Lydia Hillard, in the comedy drama film Mrs. Doubtfire with Sally Fields and Robin Williams, what was it like working with them?
They were amazing. It really was like being with family on that set. That's not something that happens all the time, but there was something about the combination of Robin and Sally and Matt and Mara and I that we were very comfortable with each other. We got along beautifully. Robin and Sally really tried to take care of us. When we were on set, it was a very long shoot. We had a lot of rehearsal time. They really saw us not just as actors, but as kids. And they were just so wonderful and compassionate and kind to us. And Matt and Mara and I still feel like we're all siblings. I saw them recently and we just have so much fun together. It was a really, I think, a very special shoot in terms of that. And I think that is one of the reasons people tell me that they're so still connected to that movie, is that they say that we really felt like family. And I always say it's not like we were that great of actors. We just really felt like family.
Working so many hours on a project at a young age, you must have had challenges working on your schooling. Can you share what that was like and how Robin came to your defense with a letter he wrote to your school principal?
There are regulations in place that child actors need to do a certain amount of schooling every day on set, but it can be very chopped up. So it can be 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, which is really hard to settle down and concentrate when you are a kid and you have 15 minutes to learn algebra before you go back and do a really emotional scene. It's not always a great system. I, at the time, was attending a high school in Canada, which is where I'm from. But my high school was a little fed up with having to send work back and forth for me. Of course, this was pre-internet, so it was all happening through the mail. They decided they didn't want me back in school, which was fairly devastating for me at 14 to be thrown out of school. It was something that really bothered me, and Robin, being the incredibly kind soul that he was, recognized that I was upset, asked me what was going on. When I explained it to him, he did send a letter to my principal, which was incredible of him to do that. So he sent this letter saying, Lisa's just trying to pursue her education while she pursues her career. Can you please help her to do both of these things at the same time? And said some very nice, flattering things about me. The principal got the letter and he framed the letter, but he didn't invite me. It eventually worked out. I got my GED. I went to college in my 30s. It was all fine. Adult actors, when they have free time that they're not working, they can go and relax and nap or, do anything they want in their time off. And kid actors have to go to school. So it really is a much, much harder job to be a kid actor than adult actor.
I would agree with that.
I understand that you and Robin had a special connection, and he was open with you sharing his mental health struggles, and that you felt comfortable in sharing yours with him. How did that make you feel, finding support, knowing that he understands what you were going through?
Yeah, Robin was beautifully open with me about all kinds of mental health things. And it was the first time someone really modeled that for me. It was the first time someone said, like, I struggle with this too. It's okay. You're not a freak. We can talk about this. And it was so helpful for me to feel that connection. I didn't even really think about it as someone as famous and successful as he was, more just someone as kind and wonderful as he was, struggled with these things too. And the fact that he really connected with me on that and was willing to share, I think has had a very lasting impact on my desire to want to be that for other people, to want to reassure other people that they're not alone with their struggles, and to support others and model that's like, yeah, I struggle too, but we can get through this together.
Did he give you any advice on how to deal with your anxiety and depression that you now use when you work with other people?
I think what Robin did that was so powerful was he just listened. He didn't assume that he could fix me or make it better. He was just there for me and said he understood and that I wasn't alone and that I could ask for help.
Well, along with Sally and Robin, you had the opportunity to work with and meet many more famous people during your acting career. Do you have a few favorites? And why meeting them was so special?
When I think back to the people that had the biggest impact on me, it's just this mixture. I mean, yes, some of them were actors, but a lot of them were crew. A lot of them were electricians or, the generator operators, the hair and makeup people. It really is a phenomenal thing for me, at least on set, to just have that feeling of connection and community. And like you have this group of people, you're all working together on this common goal. You are often on location away from home. You're spending all of your time together, really long hours. I just feel like when I think back, yes, there are some of the famous people, but more often than not, it's people you wouldn't know because it was just the crew that were wonderfully supportive and amazing and who I'm still in touch with.
Everyone asks you this question, but what was it like when you met Princess Diana?
That was a fantastic experience. I was 11. I tried to understand the enormity of that experience. At 11, it's a little hard. I guess maybe I was 12. Yeah, what a spectacular individual. We spoke very briefly, but in that short time, she was just so generous and gentle and legitimately caring and really quite an extraordinary person.
So why did you leave acting and what inspired you to write your memoir? You look like that girl, a child actor, stops pretending and finally grows up.
I was an actor for 18 years. By the time I was 22, I think a lot more of the realities of the film industry were becoming obvious to me. I think, we are all a little bit more aware of the challenges of being a young woman in the film industry. And I just felt like the superficiality, the constant striving, the misogyny, there were so many things that were really difficult to handle. And when I was a kid, it wasn't quite as in my face as it was as I got older. I also was really struggling with anxiety and depression and a panic disorder. So that made things even more difficult. And I realized that I didn't want to be an actor forever. It was something that I had sort of fallen into. It wasn't something I was passionate about.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
Start your morning right with premium coffee roasts available at ZuzuNetwork.com and drink them in your Zuzu All Grown Up coffee mug. Also perfect for tea and hot chocolate.
Stay inspired throughout the day with the same gratitude journal used by Karolyn and Chris, and check out t-shirts, hats, books, Christmas keepsakes, and more at ZuzuNetwork.com/shop.
Join Zuzu's network today at ZuzuNetwork.com/join.
Karolyn is creating an international network of aspiring angels, everyday people who believe that they can help make the world a better place by making life better for even just one other person.
Let us know you want to earn your wings at zuzunetwork.com/join, and Karolyn and Chris will send you inspirational material to support you in your journey.
We're back with more Zuzu All Grown Up.
I had friends who were passionate about acting. They loved it. They loved the craft of it. They loved everything about it. I was just doing it out of momentum. I was doing it because I had always done it. And I didn't know what else to do. I didn't have a high school diploma. I didn't have any skills other than foreign accents and crying on cue. But I realized that I needed to take better care of my mental health. I wanted to live a life that felt purposeful and meaningful, and like I felt good about the contribution I was making to the world. And I just realized that I needed to leave Los Angeles to find out who I was beneath the actor. I did that at 22, and writing has always, for me, been a way for me to process my life, to figure out what I think about things, to really understand what's going on around me. And I've been using writing as a tool for that since I was a kid. So I wrote my first book with no intention to publish it. I just wrote it because it was in my head, it was in my heart, and I needed to get it on paper. And then after I did that, I reluctantly showed it to my husband and a few friends who I know don't humor me. They are very, very honest. And I got the feedback of people saying, you know, this might be helpful for people. This might be a good thing for people to understand that just because a life looks successful doesn't mean it necessarily feels successful. And just because people expect you to do something doesn't mean that you have to do it forever. A lot of us at a certain point kind of wake up and go, wait a minute, what am I doing with my life? Is this what I actually want to be doing? Or is this kind of where I just got a little bit stuck? And so it was at that point that I started to think about publishing it.
Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to get a little bit more into that. But it's been over 30 years since you were in Mrs. Doubtfire. Lisa, what was it like having a reunion with your cast and siblings on the podcast Brotherly Love with Matthew Lawrence and Mara Wilson?
It always feels like family. It's an incredible thing because we can go years and years and years without talking. And then we get in a room and it just feels so easy and we feel so connected. It's a really beautiful thing. I'm an only child. And so I don't know if we really feel like siblings, but they have siblings and they say it feels like siblings. But I feel very lucky to have had that experience with them and feel very lucky that I still get to be able to, you know, get in a room with them sometimes.
How do you handle people coming up to you when they recognize you as Lydia Hilliard in Mrs. Doubtfire or Alicia Cass in Independence Day and ask for an autograph or a selfie?
There are some people and there are some actors who handle it beautifully. I'm super awkward. Always have been, always will be. It's just who I am. So it generally doesn't go great for me. And then I just apologize because I'm Canadian and that's what we do. That's one of the reasons I probably should have gracefully exited the film industry and being an actor, because I think there are plenty of famous people who feel deeply validated by that, who appreciate it and it feels good to them and they handle it well. Yeah, apologies in advance to anybody who comes up to me because it's going to be super weird for everyone.
So you wrote a book, the anxiety book, Not Just Me, Anxiety, Depression, and Learning to Embrace Your Weird. As a mental health professional, I assist individuals dealing with many of the same issues that you've experienced. Do you think writing the book has helped you face your challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. It was quite cathartic to write the book and also to get feedback from people who have read it, who have said that they have found it to be helpful. It's a beautiful thing to be able to connect with others on those topics that are really difficult, that we don't necessarily talk about all the time. What I loved about writing that book is that it's not just a memoir. I interviewed so many people with lots of different mental wellness challenges, and I loved being able to see the diversity of experiences, but the similarity of the connections. It was really wonderful to write that book and to meet all of those people and to be able to dive into the research and the science of it all to understand a little bit better.
Has it helped you realize that you're not alone with your feelings and anxiety?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was one of those things where I was like, I'm pretty sure this is true, but now I have a whole book to prove it.
Can you share your Blue Mala community and how someone can join it?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I have found to be incredibly effective, along with therapy for mental health for me, is mindfulness. So mindfulness encompassing meditation techniques, yoga, and therapeutic writing. So I was teaching some of these things in person pre-COVID, and then of course the world shut down. And so I took my yoga meditation classes online and created Blue Mala. So Blue Mala is pay what you can for access to a library of hundreds of yoga for anxiety classes, guided meditations that are really in the style that I have found to be most helpful. So what I love about Blue Mala is that it's really geared towards that. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. My mind is spinning out and I need something right now that's going to help me. And so I have meditations just for that. I have yoga just for that. It really is this community and this treasure trove of options that can really support when you most need it. And I found with so many of the people that I work with, even getting out of the house to a yoga class is not something that's possible. And so being able to offer that to people, no matter what time zone they're in, no matter when they need it, is a really beautiful thing.
Kind of excited to hear about that. I think I'm going to look into that because I have many people that could use that. Along with the Blue Mala, you developed a fantastic program called Mission Flexible to assist veterans dealing with PTSD, trauma and brain issues, addiction, anxiety, depression, grief, and guilt. How did you decide to work with veterans? And will you share what you do to provide a safe and inclusive environment towards healing and reacclimating into the civilian life?
In 2016, I was invited to teach a therapeutic writing program on Veterans Wellness Retreat.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
To find out more about the organization featured in today's episode or a previous episode and to learn more about how you can help, go to zuzunetwork.com/beanangel.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Have you heard? Affordable healthcare is better than ever. And right now there are more carriers and plans to choose from. If you're between 18 and 64 years old with a household income of $25,000 or less, this message is for you. Right now, the government's Affordable Care Act is available for individual and family health coverage plans with little to no cost to you. Don't gamble your health. Call Health Care for All. 70% of callers qualify for a zero-cost healthcare coverage. See if you are one of them. Call now. Our agents are standing by to help you get the health insurance plan you and your family needs and deserves. If you're uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, help is just a phone call away. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the marketplace with the largest selection of healthcare plans from the Affordable Care Act. To find a plan that's right for you, call 800-788-2406. That's 800-788-2406.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Zuzu's book club features recommendations from Zuzu herself on books she loves and thinks you will love also. All of the books that the club reads, fiction and nonfiction, are inspirational and uplifting. Folks, this is a life-enhancing club to be part of. You can sign up for free at zuzunetwork.com/book club. That's zuzunetwork.com/book club. Today, we have the distinction of having two great books for the Zuzu Book Club, and we are sure that you will enjoy and greatly benefit from both. You Look Like That Girl. A child actor stops pretending and finally grows up, by today's guest, Lisa Jakub. You'll discover her incredible journey to stardom and how, by age 22, having had appeared in more than 40 feature films and television series, she discovered it wasn't enough. She was looking for passion, purpose, and happiness. She asked herself the universal question, what do I want to be when I grow up? Discover the answer in her book, You Look Like That Girl. A child actor stops pretending and finally grows up. Also available, read by Lisa herself, on Audibles. Today's other book club selection is Not Just Me. Anxiety, Depression, and Learning to Embrace Your Weird, by Lisa Jakub, today's guest. You can get both wherever you purchase your books. Also for Kindle and on Audibles, read by the author. And of course, you can find out more at zuzunetwork.com/book club.
This is Zuzu, all grown up.
So I had never worked with veterans before. No one in my family had ever served. I wasn't even sure I'd ever talked to a veteran. I was really super, super nervous about it because I just knew nothing about this population. But at the time, I was writing my second book and I was like, well, this is going to be a disaster, but it'll make great content for the book. So I will go and I will do this. The experience was just incredible. And I just felt that this was the population that I wanted to work with. I loved that I had to work harder to really create something that worked for them. I had to translate it into something that was going to meet them where they were. All of that was a challenge that I just loved. And I saw the massive impact that mindfulness has on that population, on, their hyperreactivity, on their insomnia, on the depression, on the moral injury, the survivor's guilt, all of the things that they deal with on a daily basis. And this actually makes a dent. This actually moves the needle for them in a way that I think a lot of the other solutions, we'll put that in quotes, the solutions that they are given really doesn't seem to make much of a difference in a lot of the cases. And this really does. So it's just a beautiful thing to see. I worked for other organizations for many years. And then in 2022, I started my own nonprofit. So that's Mission Flexible. So we do 4-day veteran retreats all over the country. We have about 18 veterans who come on each retreat. And we focus on therapeutic writing practices, guided meditation, and trauma-informed yoga. And then we do all kinds of other things like equine therapy, acupuncture, cold plunge. We do archery. We have spa nights. It's amazing.
Well, we understand that part of your programming involves retreats, like you were talking about. And what are the responses from your participants?
What I really love about the way we run our program is that half of the spots on retreat are reserved for people who have come on retreat with us before, and then half of the participants are brand new to the organization. It is just the greatest honor for me when veterans want to come back. They felt that they got tools that they could take home that made a difference for them. And so when veterans want to come back and they bring their battle buddies with them, it's just the biggest honor for me and reassures me that what we're doing works. This is a need that is out there and that it is something that is truly beneficial.
So the cost of services for our veterans is often limited in scope, which I'm well aware of, and I think it's very unfair. How can a veteran participate in one of your retreats? And if they can't afford it, what type of funding assistance is available to support them?
Yeah, so the retreats are free of cost for the veteran. They just need to cover their own transportation to get there. So that's why we try to do the retreats all over the country. Once they get to the retreat, accommodation, all the meals, all the activities are completely paid for by our donors. So that's really important, again, because finances can be really difficult, and especially for veterans, it's a real challenge.
Well, if anyone that's listening wants to donate, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so there is a donation button on our website at missionflexible.org. We are a 501c3, so it is a write-off, missionflexible.org. 100% of donations go directly to retreats. So we are a fully volunteer organization. No one takes a salary. We have no overhead. All of the donations go directly to providing retreats for veterans.
So how many workshops do you have?
Right now we're doing 6 a year, but we have far more people applying than we have spaces available. As I said, it's usually about 18 people per retreat, and we are co-ed. We are all branches. We are all ages and eras of service. We are really open to all veterans. We would love to be able to increase our funding to do more retreats per year.
We'd like to thank you, Lisa. I'm so admiring how you give of yourself.
There is this big divide, I think, between military and civilians. And I think unless you come from a military family, you don't really have that many interactions with military or with veterans. And I think that's one of the reasons I love doing this work is there are a lot of veterans that kind of complain about, oh, civilians just sort of shake your hand and say, thank you for your service. And then that's all they do. And I think it's a problem. I think, we don't have to have had the exact same experience as someone else in order to have empathy and connection with someone. And so I love this work just because I don't have any connection to it. And again, it's that feeling of we can be different and we can still love each other and help each other.
Thank you for sharing your story today. Leaving Hollywood for your mental wellness. I think that's a wonderful thing to share with people so they feel more comfortable in maybe doing something about themselves as well. It's inspiring. If anyone would like to learn more about you, such as how you purchase one of your books or learn more about your wellness program, will you share your website, or is that the same one that for the veterans?
So I have a number of websites. Missionflexible.org is where you can find out about my veteran work. Blue Mala, blue like the color, MALA.com is where you will find all of my yoga, meditation, mindfulness, videos, writing prompts, all that kind of stuff. You can find my books there too. And I also do speaking events. And so all of that, if you go to hello.lisajakub.com, that is where you can find all of that information. So I'm all over the place.
Before we go, I'd just like to say we have a friend in common, Phil Erklund. Tell us about your connection with him.
Phil is wonderful. I think Phil just reached out to me many years ago and has just been such a sweet supporter. So it's really nice to just be able to connect with people who are determined to do good work in the world.
That's Phil Erklund, and he's from Colorado Springs, and he is a music teacher, publisher.
Yeah, he's just the sweetest man.
Pleasure and an honor that we met him. and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Indeed. This has been absolutely lovely. You're both amazing. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lisa Jakub, for the vital talk about the importance of mental health for all of us and putting focus on the specific needs of our veterans. You are a special person, and it's been quite the learning experience and honor to have you on the show. You can find out more about what Lisa is up to at HelloLisaJakub.com. That's HelloLisaJakub.com. A reminder, Jakub is spelled Jakub. Thanks for listening to Zuzu All Grown Up. Now stay tuned for these important messages.
Do you know someone who is earning their wings? Someone practicing kindness and service to others? Perhaps an organization or initiative helping make the world we live in a kinder, sweeter place.
Or maybe you've witnessed the miraculous, the divine, the magnificent in some way in your life, and you'd like to share it with others. Go to zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory and let us know more.
You may end up being featured on an upcoming episode of Zuzu All Grown Up. That's zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
We hope you've been inspired to live your most wonderful life now and to help those around you do the same.
Remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter who you are, there are people who care about you, and your life makes a difference.
It is a wonderful life.
Check out ZuzuNetwork.com for more on today's and other episodes, including transcripts and merchandise you won't want to be without.
New episodes are coming soon.
For transcripts of today's broadcast, go to ZuzuNetwork.com/transcripts.
Watch a video clip of today's episode at www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. Then click on the Reels tab from the top of the center of the page. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. Catch up on past episodes and discover currently premiering and upcoming episodes as well, and get helpful links and exclusive clips from our recordings. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up.
Zuzu All Grown Up with your hosts Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
Announcer and guide Seth Kennedy.
Executive producer Kevin R. Stillmock.
Coordinating producer Holly Ann Way.
Technical producer Stella Joelle.
Managing producer Karina Filatova. A Wonderful Land production.
In collaboration with Radio Wonderful.